And now we begin with new details after this young woman was shot and killed in Noda. Her family says they will never be the same after this act of violence.
The guns have really infiltrated our community, and it has touched our homes now, our family.
On a warm spring night in Charlotte, North Carolina, people filled the bars, restaurants, and music venues that make the Noda district one of the city's most popular destinations. Friends gathered for drinks. Couples walked between venues. Music echoed through the streets. For most people, it was a normal night. But before the night was over, a woman named Taylor Silver would lose her life. Within hours, police would launch an intensive investigation. Within days, an arrest would be made hundreds of miles away. Yet for those who knew and loved Taylor, the questions left behind would be far more personal than any criminal investigation. Who was Taylor Silver? What happened during her final hours? And how did a night that began like any other end in tragedy? Today's case is the tragic death of Taylor Silver. Before we begin, if you're new here, make sure to subscribe and join our growing community of true crime and mystery enthusiasts. And don't forget to leave a comment below telling us where in the world you're watching from. Now, let's begin. Every homicide investigation begins with a crime. But every victim was first a person. For family and friends, Taylor Silver was not a headline. She was not a police report. She was not a case number. She was someone they loved. Following her death, family members described her as a vibrant presence in their lives. They spoke about her warmth, her energy, her ability to connect with people. The kind of person whose absence would be felt immediately. When tragedy strikes suddenly, families often find themselves living in two different worlds at once. One world contains memories, birthdays, conversations, shared experiences. The other world is filled with police updates, media coverage, and the painful reality that someone they loved is gone. For Taylor's loved ones, that difficult transition began in the early morning hours of May 21, 2026. To understand the events that followed, it helps to understand Noda. Known as Charlotte's Arts and Entertainment District, Noda attracts thousands of visitors every week. Restaurants line the streets. Music venues host performances. Bars remain busy late into the night. The neighborhood is known for its creative atmosphere and nightlife. On the evening before Taylor's death, people filled the district as they often do. Businesses were operating. Customers moved from one venue to another. The streets remained active even as the hour grew late. To those present, it appeared to be another ordinary night in one of Charlotte's most recognizable neighborhoods. Nothing suggested that before sunrise, the area would become the focus of a homicide investigation. Shortly after 2 a.m., everything changed. Authorities received reports of a shooting in the Noda area. Emergency responders rushed to the scene. Police officers arrived and began assessing the situation. Medical personnel worked to help the victim. That victim was Taylor Silver. She had suffered critical injuries. Emergency crews transported her to a nearby hospital. Despite those efforts, she later died. In an instant, a night out had become a homicide investigation. The atmosphere in the area shifted immediately. What had been a gathering place for entertainment became an active crime scene. Investigators began securing evidence. Witnesses were identified. Detectives started working to determine exactly what had happened. At that moment, many of the answers remained unknown. But investigators were already beginning the process of reconstructing the night's events. In the hours after any homicide, time becomes critical. Investigators work quickly. Evidence can disappear. Memories can fade. Witnesses can leave. The goal is simple. Determine what happened before the crime, during the crime, and after the crime. Detectives began reviewing available evidence. They sought witness statements. They examined the area where the shooting occurred. They worked to establish a timeline. According to police, a disturbance had occurred before the shooting. Investigators focused on understanding the circumstances surrounding that disturbance. Exactly how events unfolded became a central part of the investigation. As detectives worked through evidence, they were also pursuing another urgent question. Who was responsible? Many homicide investigations take months. Some take years. In certain cases, suspects remain unidentified indefinitely. This investigation moved more quickly. Detectives developed information that led them toward a potential suspect. As evidence was reviewed and leads were followed, the investigation expanded beyond Charlotte. Law enforcement agencies coordinated efforts. Information was shared. Resources were mobilized. The search was no longer limited to one city. Investigators believed the person they were seeking had traveled outside North Carolina. That development transformed the case from a local homicide investigation into a multi-state effort. Every hour mattered. Every lead mattered. And detectives continued pushing forward. The investigation eventually led authorities to Alabama. There, law enforcement officers located and arrested a suspect. The arrest represented a major development in the case. For investigators, it marked the result of intensive work completed in a relatively short period of time. Authorities announced that Adasia Yahale Coles had been arrested and charged in connection with Taylor Silver's death. As with all criminal cases, the charge itself was an allegation. The criminal justice process would ultimately determine guilt or innocence through court proceedings. Still, the arrest provided a significant update in a case that had captured public attention. News of the arrest spread quickly. Media outlets reported the development. Community members followed updates. Family members continued grieving while the legal process moved forward. Violent crimes often affect more than the people directly involved. They impact entire communities. Residents of Charlotte followed the case closely. Many were familiar with Noda. Many had visited the area countless times. The shooting sparked conversations about safety, conflict, and violence. Community members expressed sadness over the loss of life. Business owners reflected on the incident. Visitors who frequented the district struggled to understand how an evening out could end so tragically. For many people, the story became a reminder of how quickly circumstances can change. One moment can alter multiple lives forever. While news coverage focused on arrests, investigations, and court proceedings, Taylor's family faced a different reality. The reality of loss. No criminal charge can restore a loved one. No court hearing can erase grief. No investigation can return the time that has been lost. Families affected by homicide often describe a permanent change in their lives. A birthday becomes difficult. A holiday feels incomplete. An empty chair at a family gathering becomes impossible to ignore. The public may eventually move on to another story. Families rarely do. For them, the impact remains. Every day, every week, every year. The loss becomes part of their lives. And that reality exists regardless of what happens in court. Following an arrest, attention turns to the legal system. Criminal cases move through multiple stages. Court appearances, evidence review, legal motions, hearings, potential trial proceedings. Throughout that process, prosecutors carry the burden of proving their case. Defendants retain the presumption of innocence unless and until guilt is established in court. This principle remains one of the foundations of the American justice system. As legal proceedings continue, investigators, attorneys, judges, and jurors each play distinct roles. The goal is not speed. The goal is justice. And justice requires evidence, procedure, and careful review. Cases like this often leave lasting questions. Questions about violence. Questions about decision-making. Questions about how lives can change in seconds. Communities search for understanding. Families search for peace. Investigators search for truth. Yet some questions remain difficult to answer completely. What is clear is that a woman lost her life. A family lost someone they loved. And a community experienced a tragedy that many will remember for years. The story of Taylor Silver is still unfolding. Court proceedings remain part of the ongoing process. Facts continue to emerge through official channels. But one fact is already certain. A life was lost. A family was forever changed. And a community was left searching for answers. For those who knew Taylor, she will be remembered not for headlines or court filings, but for the moments they shared with her. The conversations. The laughter. The memories. Those memories remain long after news cameras leave and public attention fades. And perhaps that is the most important part of this story. Not the investigation. Not the arrest. Not the headlines. But the life at the center of it all. Taylor Silver. Gone too soon. If you are interested in true crime stories like this one, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to bring you more chilling cases every week. And as usual, stay safe.